Welcome everyone. This is Marilee Burnett, your tarot reader and astrologer, back again with important messages for the week of October 23rd. Now, this week is all about the building energy for the full moon lunar eclipse, which is partial, that is occurring in the middle of the day for most of us here in North America on Saturday, October 28th. It'll be 1:25 if you're on the West Coast in the afternoon. So, of course, we're not typically able to see the moon in the middle of the day, so we won't see that eclipse, but that doesn't mean it isn't still happening. So we'll talk about that in depth, and it's really an interesting story that I've been tracking all year because I'm so fascinated by the energy and the focus and the intentions around that 5-degree mark of Taurus, which has just continually been highlighted all year long. And something about that work is coming to culmination, coming to fullness, coming to completion. So we'll talk about that. And we will get into, of course, in the second half of this lesson, the tarot cards with a special message about what you need to be closing out, fulfilling, releasing, completing, right? All the things that we associate with a full moon. And of course, during an eclipse, the full moon's energy is even more enhanced. So expect a very emotional week. The moon is very strong in the sign of Taurus. It's home away from home. It enjoys the energy there. But to start the week, we will have a nice energy between the sun as it moves into the sign of Scorpio at 0 degrees, an intense new type of energy, and it will speak in harmony with Saturn, which is retrograde and slowing down, getting ready to go direct on November 3rd. So there's Saturn lessons that are being highlighted. Saturn is restriction. Saturn is structure. Saturn is your very old wise grandfather who has what you need to know. And when he gives you that knowledge, you need to do something with it. As long as you do, life is great. If you ignore it, I like to jokingly refer to this as the Catholic nun that has the ruler and smacks you on the back of your hand for not listening. So make sure you've been listening, because as this planet slows down and speaks to the sun is, our personal journey, our success, how we see ourselves, right? How we shine our light in the world is our sun sign. How we rise in the world is our rising sign. That's how other people see us. But our sun sign is how we see ourselves on the inside. And we don't always share that with other people. But there's something that we are willing to share when the sun and Saturn speak in harmony. And if Saturn shows you something on Monday when these two meet up exactly and we kick off Scorpio season officially, you need to follow through. So this isn't a time where you can sit back and relax and wait for things to unfold. I have been saying this pretty consistently in my sessions with all of my clients. It's time to show up and meet the energy. If you want there to be change in your life, show up, participate, take action, do something different. But nothing will change if you just keep sitting back and waiting for the universe to change things for you. And I promise you, you will not like it. When you show up, though, when you're open, when you set your intentions to join in, then that's when things start happening, and they start happening really quickly. Saturn, Sun on Monday can help you set intentions, especially when we think about work, because both Saturn and the Sun have a lot to do with the work that we do from a career perspective. So if you're looking to make changes, If you've been interviewing for jobs, there is the chance on Monday that something is going to move forward for you, but you got to show up. You got to be willing to take a risk. You got to be willing to make a dramatic change from what you've been doing. Saturn's karma. So whatever's showing up for you, you want to take advantage of. So it's a big day that starts off a very emotional week. Then as the week progresses, right, the light of the moon increases until the moon is full. The moon is our emotions. It's our emotional self. It is what we need to feel safe and secure. It's our foundations. It's our intuition. And as the light fills up on the moon, our emotions can become increased as well, right? So this is a week where you can expect there to be a lot of emotional volatility like any full moon, but because of the fact that it's part of an eclipse, that means, of course, the energy is on steroids. And emotionally, the moon in Taurus is indulgent. So this is a week where you might find yourself wanting to overindulge in certain areas of your life, especially wherever you have Taurus energy, whatever house that occupies for you. So I often say, keep your credit cards in the freezer. Don't spend money on things that you know are out of reach, thinking, oh, I can just pay for this later. If you don't have the means to pay for it now, don't do it. Don't commit to things that are just a part of being swept up in this need and this desire to feel good, because that's what we want with Taurus energy. We want to feel good. We don't want to overindulge in comfort foods. We don't want to overindulge in shopping sprees. We want to instead, if we have any kind of problem in those areas, such as using shopping to comfort yourself, thinking that acquiring things will make you feel better. They do initially, but it never lasts. And that's the lesson of the opposition energy with the sun in Scorpio and a moon in Taurus, is understanding that if you want to feel good, if you want to feel worthy, if you want to feel valued, all things that are associated with Taurus energy, there has to be purpose with what you're doing. Scorpio is not about accumulating things. That energy is about detaching and living through experiences, living through spirituality, intense emotional experiences, being comfortable letting things burn to the ground and start over, right? Scorpio is the symbol of the scorpion. The scorpion hides. The scorpion attacks when attacked, right? It is very protective of itself. And you have to keep that in mind when you have the sun shining a light from there. So is there something that you need to protect yourself from that is causing you to doubt yourself, to not feel good about yourself? That's what this eclipse may remove for you. And so anytime we have a full moon, we are talking about opposition energy, and opposition energy requires balance. Otherwise, we're pushing, we're pulling. There's fighting, there's tension. That's why emotions are always heightened when we have a full moon, is because of the fact that there is a lot of tension at that time. So when we want to create balance, we have to do the things that I just discussed. We have to think about, what is it that this Taurus energy is asking you to complete, and how does Scorpio show you the way, right? There's something about your Scorpio intuition, your Scorpio feelings, your Scorpio desire for intensity, and the Scorpio desire for a complete change and transformation in your life that is going to help you fulfill your Taurus goals of feeling valued. Now, what is so fascinating to me as I've been watching this all year long is the fact that this full moon lunar eclipse happens at 5 degrees of Taurus. And this 5-degree mark has been being hit so many times by so many interesting energy movements, right? So planets and points that have been moving through this exact point all year long have been carrying messages and lessons for you. And so where are you at in your work? Because the full moon is helping bring some of that work to a culmination. So here's the long story. If you haven't followed me all year long and you aren't sick of hearing me tell the story yet, you're going to hear it again anyway if you are. But if you're new to following me, what has been happening is that planet Mercury started this discussion around April 6th of this year when it first hit this 5-degree point and started to be pre-shadow for its retrograde that would happen during that month. So we had this awareness start percolating in our mind, right? Mercury's the mind, it's communication. In Taurus, it could be about plans of how you want to make money, changes you want to make. Maybe you wanted to write a book, maybe you wanted to do something different, and the new ideas started percolating for you. Then you may have really given it some thought during the whole retrograde phase, and it was May 15th that Mercury was ending its retrograde and returned back, so it went to 15 degrees of Taurus, made it back to 5 degrees of Taurus, and that's where it spent some time helping you decide what you wanted to do and experience. Now, the whole time it was doing this, it was very near to the North Node, and of course that means opposing the South Node, and those nodes were still in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio. So the nodes are our fate, our destiny. The South Node is our karma. It's where we've been. It's what we're releasing, lessons we've learned. You know, what are we going to do with the information we've already gained from the South Node? So this is big fated work. With this lunar eclipse happening in the sign of Taurus, this is the completion of all of that work that you did in Taurus and Scorpio. Even though in July the nodes moved on, this is still the final eclipse from that work. This is the actual true completion of the last 19 months of work that you've been doing. So this is a very fated event. Eclipses are already fated. Now you have an eclipse that was being activated with the nodes, and it's important work. Around June 8th, then we had Jupiter come through here. And what I like about this is that Mercury rules Gemini, and it is like entry-level information. And then Jupiter rules Sagittarius. These are opposing signs. And Jupiter is the bigger picture. It gives you the next level of information and knowledge that you need to be learning. And Jupiter, of course, is in the sign of Taurus now, and it is retrograde. It is about 6 degrees away. It's sitting at 11 degrees. So it's close enough to be influential because of the large size and nature and energy associated with the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is about growth and expansion. So again, in about mid-May, something else started showing up, showing you something more about what the Mercury retrograde uncovered for you. And now it's in that exploratory phase of this process of showing you where and what you need to do to change and grow, to learn to better value yourself, to make more money because you value yourself more. This is a big growth opportunity. And of course, it was also speaking closely with the North Node as it was moving through here around that June 8th period. So now we will come to this fullness and completion again at 5 degrees. So what's interesting about the Jupiter retrograde is it is following almost in the exact footsteps of Mercury from 5 to 15 degrees, which is where it went to start its retrograde, and now it's back to 11. And it will conclude its retrograde at 5 degrees, but not till the end of December. So there may be a partial fulfillment, aka partial lunar eclipse, happening, and even more of the story will come to fullness when Jupiter on December 30th completes its retrograde and gets ready to move forward at, yes, 5 degrees of Taurus. So the story isn't completely over, but there is a big chapter ending at the time of this eclipse, and I just find it extremely fascinating. Astrology always fascinates me, and that's why I always continue to study and work with the topic, because it's just amazing to me. So speaking of that Jupiter-Mercury storyline, guess what two planets are opposing each other during the lunar eclipse? Yes, it is Jupiter and Mercury. So I already mentioned Jupiter will be in the sign of Taurus around 11 degrees, and Mercury is over in Scorpio, close to the sun. It is uncovering information, uncovering ideas. I like to think of Mercury in Scorpio as the detective, right? So that planet is in there digging things up, bringing information to the surface, exposing secrets. So it's always interesting when we have Scorpio season already, and then we have this big eclipse happening. So there is the potential, right, for big secrets to be exposed during this time that affect us financially. There is a chance for big secrets involving love and relationships, because of course Taurus is ruled by Venus, definitely financial in nature. So it is, again, just could be the information that you need to make a big change financially, right? To end a chapter such as a career. So it really is going to matter where you have these two signs in your chart and what houses they impact. So definitely pay attention as we go through the tarot reading for all of the signs. Also, with Mercury in the sign of Scorpio is Mars. Mars is feeling good and comfortable. Mars likes Scorpio like the moon likes Taurus. So these are like home, away from home energies for both of those planets. So they're strong. They feel good there. And Mars spends about 6 weeks in each sign. And in Scorpio, again, it wants you to uncover things. It wants you to transform. It wants you to always get moving. Wherever you have Mars energy, you should be focusing on being very active. And depending on what house it is, that's where the action needs to happen. So where is Mars and Scorpio energy showing up for you? Because there's something about that. Whatever's being stirred up here is stirred up on purpose so that you can understand what you need to complete, what you need to let go of. An eclipse is always about releasing something that's blocking you, right? So what's blocking you to having financial abundance? I'm using all of my green stones again, because green is the color of money and financial abundance. And so what's blocking yours? Is it self-worth? Is it self-doubt? What is it? Because use the eclipse to set the intentions, to remove the blocks, to using your Taurus energy completely, because that's truly, truly important. Now, the ruler of Taurus, as I mentioned, is Venus. Now, Venus is in the sign of Virgo. And what I like about Venus and Virgo, even though the planet doesn't love it here because it's a little cold, it's a little too restricted, it's a little too grounded and earthy. While Venus and Taurus is an earth sign, in Taurus, Venus is surrounding herself with lots of beautiful things. In Virgo energy, however, Venus has to show up and think about other people. people besides herself, and that's not her strong suit. So we are learning about investing in our health, investing in being of service to other people. So it is a learning process when Venus is in the sign of Virgo, because these are new skills that this planet always has to join with and understand as it transits in this area that it's not comfortable with. Now, at the time of the full moon, Venus is speaking in harmony with Uranus. So you could do something surprising that has everything to do with Virgo energy. With Venus there, this is the work you do. Obviously, it would affect the money you make if you suddenly made a drastic change to the work that you do. But it's also innovation, right? There may be innovation that involves beauty that you take advantage of because this affects your health, right? It's your physical appearance, right? So there may be something that you're doing to conclude a goal that you have that helps you feel more worthy and valued. And maybe you're doing something to your physical body, but just know with Uranus energy, it would turn not out as expected. So be comfortable if you're doing anything dramatic at this time, which I don't recommend until after the new moon, which will be in 2 weeks. That's going to be, a better time to do something. But of course, it always depends on your chart specifically. But as long as you're open to, love showing up in new and in interesting ways, or going through some kind of a transformation that's innovative, right? You can take advantage of it. It's positive energy, but always know whenever Uranus is involved that things can turn out different than expected, but it should be in a good way because this is a positive and harmonious aspect. All right, and then of course we still have Saturn sitting at 0 degrees, really slowing down now. It's in positive aspect to the lunar eclipse. So again, there's just this feeling of, as long as you show up and do the work, there is the potential for good things to come out of this energy. So set your intentions, show up, and be willing to do that work. All right. I think that's great for what we have to discuss and then get into the card readings for now. But if you want more information, make sure you subscribe to my channel, of course, and then make sure you are also a member of my website, because on it, you can read the details of the month as I do a monthly horoscope. So of course, October's is still out there and we still got a good week to go there. So make sure you go out and read that article. And then within the October article, and separately as well, I always have a new moon and a full moon article. And in those articles, I tell you what you can expect by sign. So that, of course, is a generalized forecast of what to expect. To know for sure, you would want to book a reading with me. And right now I still have my special offer out there on the eclipses, and it is still a good time to take a look back at what was going on with that lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse that happened in Libra, and then of course this upcoming lunar eclipse. So just go to my website, MarilynBurnett.com, and click on readings, and you'll see the special offer that I have there for you. All right. If you subscribe on my website, then I email the articles out to you directly, so you don't have to go out and search and find them. All right. So next we will have our tarot card readings. I will do your card for every sign, and you want to make sure you watch for your sun, your moon, and your rising. The moon one will be especially important this time too. So make sure you always watch for all three. It gives you a more well-rounded, full picture view of what your experience may be. And then I love your comments, so leave those for me so I see how this is going as well. All right, so let's transition over into our tarot cards. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in for the tarot reading portion of our session today. And of course, this one's a big deal because we're talking about the full moon lunar eclipse and where this will be happening for you. So let's jump right in I will, of course, start with the sign of Aries and see what the messages are. So, Aries, you start us off with the Two of Swords. Now, that means part of this lunar eclipse message for you means that it's time that you make a choice. So there is something that you've been pondering, and maybe it's something that you've been pondering since Mercury first kicked off this work for you back in April. So what's been on your mind? Mercury is associated with the sign of Gemini, with Virgo, and with the swords. So there's some decision that you need to make, and no more stalling. So you see the blindfold in this card, and that is just basically you refusing to decide, and you need to drop out of your head and into your heart in order to make the decision that's best for you. Now, this is happening in your second house, and the second house rules the money that we make. It is also our self-worth and our values, and of course it is the sign of Taurus. So what is it about your job choices that you're struggling with? What is it that's affecting you? Now, it could be the fact that something is going on with your partner's income, or maybe a job change is going to impact some other income that you get from elsewhere, because the 8th house is money that we receive from other people. So this is very financial for you. Of course, Scorpio and Taurus both rule money. And so there's something really important that you need to decide. And maybe it's you have to decide that you're going to take a job because you want to be closer to somebody that you love. It's a very interesting work for you. And of course, the North Node is in your sign. So it's all about making choices for you that are healthy and can help you have positive relationships. So there's definitely something important that you need to decide. Make up your mind. The 2 energy means make it up in a way where it's balanced, that it's fair for all that are involved. And of course, this is a lot about how we relate to other people. Okay? Ooh, so excited. These are starting off with good messages. Up next, Taurus. And this is a big one for you. And no surprise, we have the King of Pentacles. So a very grounded, earthy energy. And this person may have a message for you this week about what it is that you need to complete, right? This eclipse, of course, is happening in your sign. It's your first house. Are you where you're meant to be? Are you who you're meant to be? Are you showing yourself in the way that you mean to show yourself towards other people? Are you being fair to your partner? Is your partner being fair to you? Because the sun is shining a light from your 7th house of serious relationships, marriage partnerships, business partnerships. So there's something about your relationships that is trying to influence whatever this is for yourself that you need to conclude. Something that is blocking you from truly valuing yourself, from loving yourself and appreciating yourself. So look at how you are being reflected in the way the people around you treat you, who the people around you are. They're messengers, they're a reflection, and there's something really important in there that you need to be paying attention to. Now, if you listen to the beginning, I said this has been about the North Node work, which is for you been very personal. That was very personal work over the last year and a half, and something about that is coming to fullness now and completion. But in order for it to fully complete, you have to let go of these blocks you have directed to yourself. This is the completion of something, so a new beginning can happen because of the fact that the King of Pentacles energy carries the energy of the one. So there is a new opportunity. Perhaps this King of Pentacles makes you an offer that can completely change what you thought you would be working on. So it's very interesting. Of course, use the comment section below to let me know what you end up concluding. Gemini. Well, interesting. I have for you the Ace of Cups. So that means that there is an offer of love. Something that you love, someone potentially that you love. When we get the Ace of Cups card, we're being offered something from above that when we choose to accept it, right, you have to, the glass is handed to you, but you still have to take it. Once you do, you are going to start off on a new journey, and it's something that you're going to love and something that you'll be very passionate about. Now, it can be a relationship because of the Cups cards are about emotions and feelings. And of course, the aces are brand new beginnings. It's the first card as we look at the minor arcana through all of the suits. And so this is something major beginning, but again, something that you're currently a part of has to end first in order for this to happen for you. Now, this is showing up for you in your 12th house and your 6th house. So there is a chance that this is associated with the work you do. Maybe it's associated with where you work. The 6th house is shining a light from the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Where the moon is your 12th house. And the 12th house can be very far away places. You may be concluding a goal to move somewhere very far away from where you are currently. This is energy that is hidden. This is secrets being exposed. Maybe the secrets being exposed actually brings you and your partner closer together. So it's a really big opportunity to think about the 12th house. It's things that you cannot see. It's large institutions, things like hospitals and prisons. It is our spirituality, right? The things that we can't see that come from the other side. So there is something really major that is about to change for you, and it can change everything about what you currently do in your day-to-day life. Exciting? Let me know. Cancers. Well, Cancers, you too, and I'm not surprised that we're continuing to see Pentacles energies because Earth energy is about the Pentacles. You have the Knight of Pentacles. So this, if you're looking for romance, this is a guy who is sturdy, who is dependable, but he's very slow moving. So of all the Knights, this one moves the slowest and the steadiest. And if you're not looking for romance, this could be somebody, again, that has a job offer for you. And again, it's a court card, so it's a 1. It is a new beginning. So there's something that you're letting go in order to accept this gift, in order to consider maybe this job offer. Of course, that means you're going to have to let one go. Now for you, this is happening in the 11th house, which rules your friends, your networking groups. It can be a benefactor, which of course the Knight of Pentacles definitely looks like a benefactor. But if you have a current one, for instance, the Eclipse is going to say, okay, you got to let this one go. You've got to move away from this group that you're a part of. You might have to let some friends go in order to start this new opportunity. Now, this also could be a friend who offers you an opportunity, right, to start something new of a financial nature. With the Sun highlighting your 5th house, this is needing to create balance between the things that you love, which are in the 5th house, romantic partners, children, hobbies, and the things that you're a part of, right? The group being of service, right? There's a need for balance in these areas, but it seems like there's something really important that you've been wanting to do. And this is going to give you the opportunity to do it. And maybe that means you have to sacrifice some time that you normally spend with your kids. But this is the year where we've got to choose ourselves. Of course, you're still going to take time for your children, but you have to pursue what matters for you. Maybe it's not even your children, maybe it's your employees, right? That you feel like are your children. It's whoever you're taking care of, right? But there's something important for just you, and you need to open yourself up to take advantage of this opportunity. So be sure and let me know what that is. Leo. All right, Leos, you are working through some stuff, and the Four of Cups says whatever you're working through, it's been pretty disappointing. Maybe it's not a bad thing that whatever this is, this worry, this obsessing over whatever the disappointment is, that's a good thing to set your intentions to have this eclipsed out of your life, because it's draining you and it's just not worth it. So you've got to get over yourself and stop having a pity party and move on from this, because this is just not serving you. And the more we focus on what we don't like, we'll just keep attracting more things like that, more disappointments. This is a time to snap out of it and focus on what is going well still, and put more time and attention towards that energy. A 4 is about creating a new foundation for yourself, one that's more stable, that you can actually launch yourself from. And because of the fact that this eclipse is happening in your 10th house, there could be a major achievement as far as your career goals go, something that you've been wanting to, something that's, you have a strong emotional attachment to, is about to come to fullness and completion. But in order to do that, you are likely going to have to move, because of the fact that the sun is shining a light from your 4th house of home and family. So that can be disruptive. It can feel scary, and it might feel, a bit disappointing. But our big dreams sometimes require some sacrifice, and taking the risk is definitely going to be worth it. If you're not making career changes, the 10th house is, of course, our fame, it's our notoriety, it's what we're most recognized for. So something major as a goal for yourself could be being completed, any blocks to completing goals for yourself. And this is often energy associated with our fathers. If there is something that you have been working on, some pain associated with your father, maybe that can come to fullness now. And maybe your mother or your family plays a role in that in some way. All right. Keep me posted, of course. All right, Virgos. Oh, yay. I love this card. Pulled it last week for Pisces, and I know a few who are definitely having great opportunities show up because of the fact that you got the Wheel of Fortune. So I think this is our first major arcana card today. So for you, another fellow earth sign with that Taurus energy, you're in harmony with whatever this full moon is going to bring for you. So of course you have a very positive card. This means change. Positive change is coming in. The Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. So that's very exciting news. And the number 10, of course, also reduces to the number 1. So this, again, is an ending that creates a major new beginning for you. And lots of times, of course, this has to do with finances, because you can see there's the pentacle right there in the center of this. Now, for most Virgos, this is happening in your 9th house. So this is a major growth opportunity for you. Some of you may be considering a big move overseas. 9th house rules foreign people, foreign places. It is ruled by the planet Jupiter, and it is all about growth and expansion through knowledge. It can be spiritual knowledge, it can be actual higher education. So there is a major turning point coming for you, and it requires you to get out of your comfort zone, because the sun shines a light from your third house, and the third house is, it's a local community. It's where, we're connected to our extended family members, our cousins, people who feel like family. And sometimes it's a little scary to have to let that go. But there's also something about learning and knowledge in the third house that you've gained that is going to help you on this new journey of expansion. So it is a very interesting opportunity. It is fated, and I can't wait for myself personally as a Virgo rising to see what this is all about. All right, up next we have the sign of Libra, and here, of course, we have more pentacles, but this one's the Five of Pentacles. And as you can tell from the nature of the picture of the card, right, that this is a time to end where you're struggling financially. Because the Five of Pentacles is, there are opportunities for you, but you're not seeing them. It's like you have your head down and are passing by the help that could be there for you. In this picture, it's interesting, right? Because, this person's just walking on by and ignoring this big, huge building because it seems dark and foreboding and no one there could possibly want to help you. But you don't know if you don't ask. And so there's something that you need to be letting go, an emotional block that keeps you from seeking the help that you need. And maybe you need help finding a job. Maybe you need help with your finances. So this is a time where it's not good to stay stuck in your ego. You need to ask for help and receive it. And this is also happening for you in the houses that are associated with finances. So in your 8th house, this is the money that you receive from other resources. So there is an opportunity for any blocks to this bonus that you've been waiting on to finally show up, this inheritance to finally come through for you. Maybe this is your spouse's or partner's income that has been blocked, and now that block can be removed. And when it is, then that will help you both, because the sun shines light from the house that involves the money you make from your 2nd house. So there's definitely some financial opportunities, as long as the blocks to getting the help you need to improve your finances can be removed. And they definitely can, as long as you set that as your intention. Now, the energy of the 5 is about change. So change is coming for you financially for sure at the time of this eclipse. So if you're struggling or blocked, you really need to work with someone. This whole week would be a really good time to do that, to help you remove and release any money blocks you have, so that you can restore the balance for you financially between the money you make, the money you spend, the money you generate, the money that comes in from other resources. But there's a need for balance this week, and this eclipse is going to help you see what that is. Up next, we have Scorpios. All right. I am just never not surprised by the cards and how well they are in tune with the energy, because we have yet another Pentacles card, and you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is a very feminine energy, which makes sense with the sign of Scorpio. So Scorpios, you have the sun in your house, highlighting this full moon in the opposing energy of Taurus for you. So the 7th house is your serious relationships. It's your marriage partnerships. And here, this may be a woman that approaches you with a business opportunity. So that's a really wonderful. I mean, even just the energy of this card, it looks so beautiful and positive. So whatever this offer is, you want to make sure you open yourself up to it and accept that you don't have to do everything on your own and by yourself. So work with this woman this week to help remove the blocks to, you feeling worthy of relationships, for instance, or aligning yourself with the right, business partner that can help you expand your business. So this is all about balance between what you need, what the other people need in your life, and how you can make everyone happy. So definitely lean into this and work with this woman as she shows up for you this week to help you complete and remove any blocks that you have to being capable of having a serious relationship, right? Seventh house is all about marriage. So is your marriage what you want it to be? Are you wanting to be married? A lot of that has to do with self-worth and self-confidence, right? Believing that it is possible. So there's definitely something you need to see this week involving how you view yourself and how you feel yourself in a relationship. And the Queen of Pentacles, of course, is a 1 energy, and there is something that you need to complete, a block that needs to be removed in order for you to move forward in some kind of serious relationship or partnership. Sagittarius. I swear I do not stack these cards, but we have yet another Pentacles card, and this one is beautiful. So you guys have the 10 of Pentacles. Now, I know a few Sagittarius rising, that have recently experienced the disappointment of what the solar eclipse brought you, which was a loss of a job. But what this says is, with the help of the lunar eclipse, you're finding the actual perfect ideal, and it feels so good, money-making opportunity as far as your career goes. So whenever we lose a job, especially during eclipse season, it's because the job was the wrong one. We were taken advantage of, we weren't living up to our full potential. I mean, there's ton of reasons why it could have happened. And then the good news is, if you did not lose a job or have any job changes, you're doing and working in the job that is meant for you. So what you could be doing is experiencing some kind of raise, some kind of a bonus, something where it feels amazing, the way that you're being compensated for the work that you do. So this is just beautiful energy. And because it happens in your 6th house, if it's not work related, it could be health related. 6th house is things that we are a part of on a day-to-day basis. It could be a service group that you're a part of, could be pets, but it's really wonderful, happy, joyful energy. So that's super exciting. Now, the sun shines a light from your 12th house, which could mean that you work for a large institution, potentially. Maybe you have some kind of spiritual work, but there's something about that you get to see, maybe you get to be celebrated, and it ends up resulting in this new opportunity for you. So very exciting news for you. And the 10 becomes the 1. So whatever's ending, like I said, it's meant to be, but the new beginning will be even better. All right, Capricorns. You get the Ace of Swords this week. So this is the energy of new beginnings. It can be some kind of work project. This can be writing. It's definitely thinking, knowledge. Could be taking a class, learning how to communicate better. This is all new ways of thinking. And it's something that's handed down to you again. So this is something that comes through the heavens. It's information that seems to pop up out of nowhere. But whatever this information is, it starts you on a new path. So another sign that whatever's ending for you with this full moon energy, it is purposeful and it will help welcome in a new beginning for you. Now, this happens in your 5th house. So these are the things that you're really passionate about. Could be a new beginning related to one of your children. Maybe one of your children is moving away for school, right? This could be that they're taking off, and suddenly you can devote more time to one of your hobbies, right? Which is another new beginning for the 5th house. Now the sun shines a light from your 11th house of your friends, your networking groups. So if you've been too busy to devote time to your hobbies because you devote all your time to taking care of everybody else's needs, then this is a reminder to get back to doing something that you love. Maybe using your voice, maybe you're singing, maybe you want to get back out and do that as a hobby. So it's time to reawaken your gifts and explore what you are passionate about. So it's okay. Let go of whatever it is that's blocking your heart and open yourself up to new possibilities, because one may be coming to you surprisingly that opens this new door of opportunities, and it will be welcomed. All right, Aquarius. Well, Aquarius, you have our next major arcana card, and we're almost all the way through the signs. So we've only had 2 so far. With the Emperor, you are feeling like a boss. So this is somebody who is a superior to you that has a new opportunity for you. You are likely to be excited about it because you feel very important with whatever this opportunity is. So again, that 4 energy is home, family, structure, foundation. So maybe this is somebody who offers you a new job, and because of the offer, you will need to move. Now, this happens, of course, in the house that rules where we live, in your 4th house. So there is any blocks. Maybe you've been trying to move and something has been in your way. Well, this person comes through and says, all right, it's a done deal. All blocks to this move happening have been removed, and you receive the information about that move maybe anytime this week. And maybe you're moving in at the end of the week with this full moon lunar eclipse. Now, that does require a job change, and the sun shining a light from your 10th house is really where we're looking to be successful, and sometimes it's hard to let go of where we're currently being successful in order to, start something new. But this is a big move. It's like a pivotal moment in your career kind of move. So whatever this person is offering you this week, you definitely want to take advantage of it. The Emperor doesn't do the work themselves. They want you to do it for them. But doing the work for this person is going to make big things happen in your future. So it's definitely worth the time and investment. All right, last but not least, Pisces. Well, we have the Temperance card, which is probably always a good card for you, Pisces, because this is about needing to be emotionally balanced this week. And with the intensity of the full moon, that may get tested. And so you want to remember, when you're feeling overly charged emotionally, that you just need to ground yourself. And when you do so, things will work out, because you're a wonderful manifester as long as you focus on what you want to create. And don't play the victim. Don't act like a victim. Instead, use your intuition for good, and use those feelings for good, and create what it is that you want. this being the last card, and it is our last major arcana card, and it's the number 14, which does reduce to the number 5. So there's change that's coming, and sometimes when we have to go through change, it can feel very disruptive, and that's why there's this call and this need for emotional balance. Now for you, this is going to happen in your 3rd house. Now the 3rd house is our place in the community. It is extended family members, and it is giving you an opportunity to complete something that you've been a part of in your community. And the sun shines the light from the 9th house, which is bigger things, right? So in order to take maybe a new role in your community, you have to stop playing small, right? The sun in the 9th house is showing you what is possible, where you can grow, where you can go, right? And just staying comfortable doing what you've always been doing is not the answer. So this full moon is going to help you get out of your comfort zone, going to push you to grow and expand, and it's going to remove any blocks you have to that path. So take a hold of it and get ready for big change. All right. Once again, amazing cards for the week. I cannot wait to hear how this goes for all of you, and spend some time this week contemplating all the information that I gave to you in the astrology lesson, about what this path has been leading you on, right? Because it's all these seemingly unrelated things that suddenly this week are coming together, and now you're starting to see the big picture, right? Jupiter and Taurus. What's the big picture? What's been going on? How are these things that seem to not be related suddenly making sense? And that eclipse moment when you go, aha, I get it, right? The block has been removed. I'm able to see what was hidden. That is the important work that will happen for you this week. So really make sure to tune in. Make sure you're connecting to the earth energy this week to keep yourself grounded, because there is a lot of change coming in. And then again, expect that still this new opportunity, right, is going to go somewhere even bigger by the end of the year. So keep me posted. I'm really curious and interested to see how this shows up for everybody. And whenever you leave me questions in the comments, I always get back to you. So take a risk, ask a question, and I will respond. And please share this information, because it's such an important week with anybody else that you think will really enjoy it. All right. Happy full moon lunar eclipse. I am sending you positive vibes, and can't wait to talk next week and see where this energy takes us. Take care, everybody.